Two Apache women were chosen for death by their own tribe, but a single cowboy put everything at risk to guard them. When the desert filled with the sound of guns, three strangers stood side by side against great danger. Their survival would change the lives of all three forever. Hey everyone, before we jump into this exciting Wild West tale, quick question. Where are you listening from right now, and what time is it where you are? Drop a comment and let me know. If you enjoy these frontier stories, please hit like on the video and subscribe so you catch every new chapter. Thanks. The sun sank low behind the rough red cliffs of Arizona, casting long shadows over the desert. Sarah and Emily ran through the bushes, lungs hurting, feet sore from hours of running. Every broken twig behind them made their hearts jump. They had not slept, not eaten, surviving only on fear and natural drive. The tribe they once believed in had turned against them, blaming them for sharing a secret they never learned. Labeled as betrayers, they got one option: run until captured or die where they stood. So they picked the desert, tough as it was, because even a small hope was better than nothing. The women moved toward the wide plains, where orange sand touched the endless sky. Their breaths came in quick bursts as the wind brought far-off sounds of hoof-hooves, as proof their hunters were getting closer. Sarah stumbled for a second, holding her side, but Emily took her hand and kept pulling. They had lived through attacks, hunger, and bad weather, yet nothing seemed as scary as being chased by their own people. Still, neither talked about stopping. They held a quiet promise to keep each other alive, no matter the price, even if the desert took them completely. Just as tiredness almost made them fall, the ground shook a little under their feet. A lone rider showed up on the hill, a dark shape against the setting sun. The women stopped moving, not sure if he brought danger or help. As the rider came nearer, they saw a tall cowboy in old boots and a hat covered in dust. He was younger than they thought, with calm eyes that looked at them closely. Behind them, the noise of their chasers grew stronger. They had no time to decide. They just waited for luck to pick a side. Jake Thompson guided his horse closer, feeling something was wrong long before he spotted the riders far away. He'd traveled this land for years and knew fear when he saw it in someone's eyes. His days were peaceful, handling cows and fixing fences, but seeing two scared women woke something deep and natural in him. Trouble was near, and he felt it like warmth rising from hot rocks. He could turn and act like he saw nothing, but his sense of right would not allow it. He leaned forward in the saddle. "If you want to stay alive, come with me," he said strongly, holding out his hand. Sarah paused only a moment before taking it. Jake pulled her up behind him, then reached for Emily. She climbed on too, holding tight as Jake turned the horse quickly and urged it to run. Hooves pounded the ground as they sped across the desert, moving between mesquite bushes and dry stream beds. The hunters saw them and started yelling, pushing their horses faster. The chase swept over the land like a storm. Jake knew the paths better than most men, and he used every skill he had, turning back, crossing a shallow stream, staying near rocks where footprints vanished. Still, the riders behind did not quit. Sarah felt Emily shaking beside her, and she put an arm around her sister's shoulders. Jake kept his voice steady, telling them he knew a spot where they could hide. He did not say that going there meant giving up his own safety. By the time the sky turned deep blue, Jake led the horse toward an old small cabin used long ago by travelers and workers. It hid behind a hill, unseen unless you knew the exact place. The door made a loud creak when he opened it, but inside was dry and safe, a rare comfort in the desert night. He helped the women enter and gave them a water container. Emily drank first, then passed it to Sarah, who wiped her lips and said a quiet, shaky thank you. Jake nodded, watching the dark for any sign of movement. As the cold night air came in, the three sat quietly. Emily finally spoke, her voice just above a whisper, telling about the wrong blame, the betrayal, the chase. Jake listened without stopping her, his face growing tight with each part. When she finished, he knelt by the door, checking his rifle. He understood what helping them would cost. The riders would not stop until they took the women, dead or alive. But he also knew he could not give them up, not after seeing the honesty in their eyes. He decided quietly, without big show, he would stand between them and death, no matter what morning brought. The small cabin felt tight, but for the first time in days the women were not running. Emily curled up near the wall, tiredness finally beating fear. Sarah stayed awake, watching Jake as he stood guard at the door. She wondered why a stranger would risk so much for two women he did not know. Jake felt her look, but did not turn. "You're safe tonight," he said gently. Outside, the desert wind blew strongly like a warning. Inside, 3 lives were connected by a choice that would change everything.
Hey friends, we're right in the middle of the action. How's everyone doing? Still with us? Where are you tuning in from, and what's the time there? Let me know in the comments. If this story is pulling you in, give it a like and subscribe for more tales like this one. The first light of morning spread across the desert when a loud gunshot broke the quiet. Jake woke fast, grabbing his rifle before his feet touched the floor. Dust flew through gaps in the cabin walls as more bullets hit outside. They had been discovered. Sarah and Emily hurried to hide, fear clear on their faces. Jake signaled them to stay low, his voice calm even in danger. "They're here for you. Stay behind me." He knew the riders came with orders to take the women dead or alive, and he would not allow it. The sound of guns grew stronger as the attackers moved around the cabin. Jake pushed the women behind piled boxes, protecting them from stray shots. His thoughts raced, looking for any way to win. The cabin was old, but it had strong wood walls and only 2 doors, front and back. Sarah crouched beside him, breathing steady, eyes clear. She was not scared of the battle. She was scared of losing the one chance at life they had. Emily, shaking, held a wooden post, quietly hoping the walls lasted long enough for a plan. Through broken gaps, Jake saw at least 8 riders, too many to face directly. He put a new bullet in his rifle, set his face firm, and fired the first shot with perfect aim. The closest rider jumped behind a rock, surprised the cowboy fought back. They yelled to charge the cabin.
Jake fired again, making them scatter. "You two stay down," he said, but Sarah was already planning ahead, her mind shaped by years of surviving. She looked at the small back window and knew her part. Sarah crawled over the dusty floor, moving without noise. Jake saw her look and understood. He wanted to stop her, but time was short. "Be careful," he whispered. She nodded and slipped through the tiny window, landing softly behind the cabin. Moving wide through the bushes, she went like a shadow in the morning light. At the same time, Emily saw a pistol near a hurt rider who fell earlier. Her hands shook hard, but she crawled to it. She remembered the shame of being chased, hurt, judged. The fear turned into strong will. She took the pistol, her shaking calming a bit. The attackers gathered again and rushed the front door, expecting an easy win. Instead, Jake answered with quick shots, making them hide once more. Sarah, now behind a hill, attacked quietly, her arrows flying through the air before the men knew she was there. 2 riders fell, surprised by the hidden danger. Emily, still inside on her knees, aimed at a man trying to go around Jake. She pulled the trigger. The shot was not perfect, but it made him step back. Her heart beat fast, but she held the gun. She was not powerless now. Chaos grew as the three fought from different sides. Jake stood in the doorway, shooting with skill from years in open land. Sarah moved from rock to rock, quiet and fast, her arrows pushing riders into view. Emily watched the weak spots, shooting when anyone tried to get near. The attackers, sure at first, now yelled in confusion. They expected scared runners, not a strong team. The desert rang with gun sounds, bouncing bullets, and the quick whistle of Sarah's arrows. Dust spun in the sun, making the fight a cloud of dirt, sweat, and brave heart.
One last rider rushed forward, calling others to move, but Jake stepped out, aiming right at him. The man stopped when he saw both women coming from opposite sides, one with a ready bow, the other with a lifted pistol. They stood in a line behind Jake, together and strong. The rider spoke low in anger. Seeing they lost more men than planned, the rest pulled back, pulling their hurt friends as they got on horses. Soon they rode away fast over the plains, their boldness broken by the three they thought weak. When the sounds died and dust fell, Jake lowered his rifle, breathing hard. Sarah came closer, her face covered in dirt, but eyes full of relief. Emily let the pistol fall, only when her hands could not hold it anymore. They stood together in the gentle morning light, hurt, tired, but alive. Sarah's voice shook as she whispered, "You did not have to save us." Jake took off his hat, brushing sand from it. "Maybe not," he said quietly, "but no one should die without fairness." The desert wind carried his words, ending the fight, but starting something much bigger for all three. What a story. So where are you right now as it ends? What's the time over there? Tell me in the comments. I love hearing from you. If you loved this one, please like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next Wild West adventure. Thanks for listening.